Welcome to the Gals Guide to the Galaxy podcast, where a group of gals gather for you one cool thing around our topic of the month. Is it ancient history? Is it breaking news? Is it safe for work? Well, that's up to each gal. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Welcome back. I am Kassie Simcox, and I am joined here with Leah, Bonnie, Barb, and of course the beautiful Katie Young. Barb just introduced and spoke about our first cool folklore gal, Lozen. And before we get back into it, I have a get to know you question, and it's a very good introductory question. I think so, at least. And it is, what is the very first folklore tale that you remember hearing that stuck with you? Or at least, yeah, even like a scene or a memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, like a first one.
Yes.
You know, it's probably
Okay.
not the first.
Yeah.
But I had quite the passion for The Little Mermaid. So much
The
so
Hans
that
Christian Andersen or the Disney?
No, Disney.
Just making sure.
But then I was so into The Little Mermaid,
Yeah.
I sought out the Hans Christian Andersen, which is not as cheerful
Right.
whatsoever.
Correct.
So there's probably something else in there, but if I had to just go, that one sticks in my memory, and the fact that I had to research it more.
Right.
Like, who are these mer people?
Right. Exactly.
What do they do?
Where are they? How do I find them? And how do I join them?
Probably makes sense. I was quite the fish when I was a kid.
There you go.
So, you know,
Lots
I
of
related. I
swimmy.
wished I had, well, no, probably don't want a fishtail, but, you know.
You just wanted to be in the water
in
a
the
lot?
water all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally fair.
A removable fishtail, I think, would be effective.
Yeah.
I would like
I
that.
think they have those.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check
Mhm.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Everything's on Amazon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do either you two have one?
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if, I'm trying to remember, is their name Chicken Little? Is that what
There was a
their
Chicken
name
Little. The sky is
That's-
falling?
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember that, reading that, like, over and over again.
Gotcha.
As a kid.
Right.
I'm not really sure that counts as, like, folklore.
I mean,
Oh.
it's kind of a...
It's like Mother
It's
Goose
not a
territory.
fairy tale, yeah, and it's not really a nursery rhyme. So yeah, I think it's right there in that
Oh.
in between
It's a
lore.
parable, though, right?
Oh.
It's trying to teach you something.
Something.
Which is
Yes.
kind of in the scheme.
But
of
Miss
why
will
we
have that too.
have
Yeah,
stories, so you can get the lesson from the story.
yeah,
It counts, Bonnie.
he does. Yes, absolutely.
Well, but the popular story when I was a kid, we would make the librarian read it to us over and over again, was The Stinky Cheese Man.
Oh,
It's very popular.
yes.
It had a bunch of, like, the folklore people. He was like the gingerbread man, but he was a piece of stinky cheese.
Gotcha. Okay,
And he was just running around being like, you can't catch me.
because I'm the stinky
And
cheese.
it was like,
Well, who wanted to catch him if he was stinky cheese?
it's like, it's
Unless
very
it's
much
goat cheese.
like a
Well, there you go.
Yes.
Ren and Stimpy type.
Oh, yeah.
okay.
story.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, like gross. Like, the 90s was just gross.
It was gross.
was
I
gross.
mean, we had Goosebumps and
Yeah,
Ren and
snot,
Stimpy. And, yeah.
slime.
Oh yeah, you can't do that on television.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, exactly.
I miss the 90s.
Yeah. Mine kind of comes from the 90s as well. If that's okay, Barb, if I hit next.
You go right
Okay.
ahead.
Mine is terrifying, so I don't want to scare you before yours is. The only one I can remember, like I'm trying to go back like the earliest. I mean, it might have been like a Bible study, class, but I'm not remembering any of them. But I remember I went to a sleepover with a bunch of girls and they told they told a horror story, and I can't even remember. I think it was Bloody Mary or something like that. But I don't think it was Bloody Mary because we didn't do anything with the mirror. But she had some kind of name. But here's what I remember. It was this ghost story, and they would keep hearing in the distance this drip, drip, drip. And do you know the story I'm talking about? And so they were laying in their bed, and they were scared of the drip, 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 and they were told
The
that
dog?
Yes. If
Leah!
Uh-oh.
My cousin told me
Yes!
this story.
Yes!
And I'm like, Nicole, why are you telling
This
me
is the worst story ever.
I'm so sorry to cut you off.
No,
but
you're fine.
I've never
It's
known
really bad.
anyone else to know this story.
do you know
so-
remember
I'm
who the-
worried now? No, I don't.
Okay, all right.
I
I'm
do.
worried.
Okay, what was the name?
Oh, I don't. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
don't know.
that's the
It
only
was
thing I
just
probably
like
don't remember.
the
Yes.
Hitchhiker or something. 'Cause
Something like
It was
that.
a crazy hitchhiker.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. But
So you're supposed to okay, so you hear a drip, drip, drip,
Yes.
and to soothe yourself, you're supposed to put your hand down below your bed, and the dog will lick your your hand and you'll know it's fine because
Yeah.
the dog's
Because
there.
the dog's on watch. He's
Right.
He's
the
got
dog's
your
gonna
back,
protect you.
right?
Yes. So you're just, you're
Yes.
just like, if you get scared and you hear a noise, you let the dog lick your hand. Bonnie's going to kill me after this. So the
Oh
story
my
goes
gosh.
on and the story goes on, and he can't handle the drip, drip, drip. So she goes to the bathroom, and the dog is dead, and the drip, drip, drip is the blood of the dog. So then she
Yes.
has to look under the bed to see who was licking her hand.
End scene.
Okay.
That's the one that stuck with me.
horrible.
Yes.
Isn't it horrible? But that's
It
the
is
one I remember.
horrible.
And I was
So
probably
scary.
like 5 or 6. Like I was really young, and that's the one I remember. And I don't know her
Yes.
name but it stuck with me to the point
You
of
think?
I don't like
I remember it.
Yes, exactly.
My cousin added the detail of, like, for example, she used the person was a girl in the
Yeah.
story she had heard on the news that night.
Oh,
that-
yeah, there you go.
The
Yeah.
news that night that someone had escaped from the local insane asylum.
Right.
And so to be
Oh, my
careful. And
Lord.
so the person went to bed the
Yes.
child, the teenager went to
Mhm.
bed that night scared and nervous.
But the dog will
But the
protect
dog
you.
will
That's
protect-
right. Yeah,
So,
yeah. That makes
yes,
sense.
when they were nervous, they would, their dog slept with them at night and they would put their hand down and they're like, oh,
Bonnie's never gonna
all
forgive me.
good, all
This
safe.
is terrifying.
No problem.
It's terrifying. It's
I found
terrifying.
it
And
on Wikipedia.
false.
Oh, you did? What is it
Yeah.
actually
Oh,
They're
called?
calling it the lick hand
Yeah.
or the doggy lick or
Yeah.
humans can lick too.
Oh!
Oh, they're all terrible, but humans can lick is also the best.
I'm
one.
gonna
Yeah,
need
I'm sorry.
everyone's cell phone number.
Okay,
because when
okay,
I can't
okay.
sleep
All
at
right, that's
3
fair.
o'clock in
That's
the
fair.
morning,
You're right.
I'm gonna need some
Mhm.
assistance.
You
Yes.
can,
And I'm not
you
gonna be
can blame
looking
me. Yeah, no,
to
it's
my
fair.
dog
That's
Yeah.
for
fair.
this.
Yes,
assistance.
exactly. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
That
Great
is
stories.
I was gonna say Hansel and Gretel. So
Hansel and Gretel. So your first folklore that you remember.
that's what I remember. And then we had
Yes.
a bunch of ghost stories and stuff. But
Right.
Hansel and Gretel. I mean, I know,
Leaving breadcrumbs, finding your
Right.
way back.
right.
The-
It seems more wholesome.
The witch does shove them in the oven.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Wholesome.
true.
It depends
It's
on
true.
which level
Yes.
of Hansel and Gretel
Where they
you're
stop
getting.
the story. Like, oh, okay, no, that's the end of the
I-
story.
Are we getting the kindergarten version or the
Right.
actual
I think
Brothers Grimm
The,
version?
the kindergarten version is the one I remember.
There you
correctly.
go.
So,
Yes. Is that the
my-
one where the kids shove the grandmother into the oven and run away?
I don't remember
Okay.
that one.
The sweet
It
version.
was the sweet version.
Okay.
It was the sweet
Where they
version.
decided to just agree to disagree.
Yeah, it's the one where they get to come home, but my parents could use that story over my head to tell
Yeah.
me like not to walk down the alley at night
Yes.
and all of this kind of stuff.
And
It
always
was
have
very
breadcrumbs in your
manipulative.
pocket?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Something in my
Okay.
pocket.
Practical.
Right.
There you
Very
go.
practical.
That's
Very
good.
practical.
I'm glad
You
we
worked with what you
I'm
had.
glad we brought it back to wholesomeness.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. My daughter did. She's been to wherever Mothman.
Yeah, the Mothman.
The
Yeah, yeah.
Mothman. So she's done a Mothman trip and
Yeah.
done all that stuff. It's Mothman T-shirts, and I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know when he originated, but that was that the 90s kind of.
It could be. I know it's way more popular right now.
It is.
So
it is,
where
yeah.
it came from,
Yeah,
couldn't
there's a
tell you. It
festival
feels new.
And,
Yeah.
like a weekend festival, all that
It's
kind of
getting
stuff.
kind of cutesy now.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
people on TikTok that have little costumes. They're
Uh-huh.
cute.
You're like the Mothman.
They too are trying to make it, more wholesome.
Sure. What about you, darling? What
Yes.
is your first that you remember?
My again, my mother used to tell me how I would just on repeat watch the VHS tape of Alice in Wonderland from Disney.
Oh, the Disney.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
see, that's
Back
why
to
you
Disney.
two are such good friends.
Yes.
You guys are watching Disney together.
Yes. Specifically, I remember being just like so captivated with the scene where she meets the Cheshire Cat.
Yes.
And his just big old grin, and how,
Mhm.
and deep diving into him and as an adult he's really kind of one of like the least scary characters. Because
Yes.
he's more of a guide to Alice.
Mhm.
He's
Yes,
trying to help her
yes.
get out of there.
Yep.
But yeah, I loved Alice in Wonderland, but at the time I obviously was not quite catching on to all of the pretty, I don't know, trippy, we'll say.
LSD
Mhm.
influence.
LSD influence, perhaps
Yes.
child infatuated writing, but Alice in Wonderland is definitely the very first story I remember and being like going down that folklore rabbit hole, so to speak.
Oh, rabbit hole.
Yes.
Very
I fell
nice.
down that rabbit hole.
Perfect.
Very nice.
I made the mistake as a kid by watching I forget what version it's called, like the live action whatever one.
Yeah,
of it, that
the
was on,
Tim
like,
Burton one?
PBS
Oh.
or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Masterpiece Theater, I think.
I guess
yeah.
it's a 2-part, but I only
Yeah.
ever saw the first
I only
part,
made
and
it
it
through the
ends
first
with
part.
like a dragon thing in her living room,
Oh.
and
That's the looking glass.
that was up there with the
Oh.
Beetlejuice snake
Oh,
for me.
gotcha.
That was like, like the whole room got dark, and I
Right.
was
Was
terrified.
that with the Jabberwocky? 'Cause
Yeah.
there's technically 2 parts to Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, I only ever saw
Oh.
Through
the
the
first
looking
part,
glass.
and it always
yes.
ended with that, like her in her room, in her house alone,
Gotcha.
through the mirrors. It's
Yeah.
creepy.
You're like,
Yeah.
no.
Most of the stuff is pretty freaky. I mean, to
Yeah.
your point,
That's why you remember
trippy.
it.
It's all trippy.
Yeah.
Well,
you
he
know.
was tripping. So.
Yeah.
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 Literally and
Anything that
Figuratively.
originated from the 60s,
Yes.
you can count on
Yeah.
it being drug influenced.
Yeah.
Exactly. As were the Beatles.
As were the- well, all the good music, right?
Exactly.
Yes, some enjoyable music.
But who do you have for us, darling?
Okay,
Who's your
yes,
one cool
yes.
gal?
My cool gal. So for my folklore tale, I have gone down a slightly different rabbit hole.
I see what you did there.
My folklore tale is not written by someone from centuries or even decades ago, but more recent and with a modern twist.
Yay.
Yes. I recently read a play titled Is God Is, and it is written by award-winning writer Aleshea Harris. And I decided to go with talking about Aleshea Harris and her play Is God Is after hearing about the theme for Gal's Guide for the month of October, because I wanted to introduce the work of a Black female writer
Yes,
who
please.
centered her writing on female leads, and Is God Is all of that. And I'm very excited to share her with you guys today.
Woot woot.
Yes. So, before getting into it, Is God Is has been described as the modern, the tragic, and a spaghetti western mixed with Afropunk in this darkly funny and unapologetic tale of revenge, all while adventuring in typography. Which, I mean, sign me up.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
A lot of
I
awesome
love-
things.
yeah.
I'll be looking to see where I can string
Mhm.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, I have it here for you.
Perfect.
To borrow.
Perfect.
Yes, I brought it. These are all some of my favorite things. I'm a big fan of spaghetti western films.
Yes.
Just in case, if for a listener or for someone here at the table, if you don't know, a spaghetti western is a subgenre of western films. A lot of times they're a little over the top. Some may describe even goofy. While Afropunk is considered alternative and underground expression of African American culture.
Mhm.
So roll that all up into a play, and I think you have a winner.
Yes.
Love it. Love it.
Tons of fun.
Yes. Non-stop roller coaster. Going back, in an interview with The Interval back in 2018, which was already after this play won the American Playwriting Foundation Relentless Award in 2016, and would then go on in 2018 to win 3 Obie Awards, which Obie stands for Off-Broadway Play.
Ah.
Aleshea Harris was asked where her inspiration for writing Is God Is came from, and her response was, I was really interested in writing a revenge tale. I love revenge narratives. I wanted to write one that featured Black women who spoke in a particular way. The way that I spoke and sometimes speak, being someone who grew up mostly in the South, and wanted to be unapologetic and no holds bar in the manner of expression. I just wanted to tell this story. One of my prompts to myself was, if I were to write an ancient Greek tragedy, taking cues from that form, what would that look like? What would the family look like? How would I populate the landscape? Etc., etc. I just thought that was really amazing how she went from, she was brainstorming and thinking creatively on how to write a modern folklore, and that she could personally connect with in some way, all while stemming from what is considered classic folklore and storytelling, which that being Greek mythology still.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting going back to, like, Greek mythology has just tied in with so
Absolutely.
many
Absolutely.
things. Yeah.
Mhm.
You wouldn't think it necessarily would inspire a Black female writer either. But
Yeah.
it has.
And I like that twist on it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like taking that, but making it her own. It's
Exactly.
really cool.
Yeah, and that's
Mhm.
where I realized I was like, oh, this is a folklore story.
Yeah.
And that seemed like it right off the top of your head, or even reading the first page or two. You get into it and you're like, oh, this is folklore.
Right.
It's modern. It's revengeful, and I am going to talk about some parts of the play. I do my best not to completely spoil it, just for people who may be interested.
Mhm.
But there are some parts I do hit on. So, spoiler alert, if you're listening.
Totally
Just
fair.
go ahead and read it. It's a very easy 120 play readable, some very fun. You'll see the cool typography that it references.
Ooh.
The play starts with twin sisters, Racine, Racine, and Anaya. I apologize if I'm butchering this writing and pronounce of their words. receiving a letter from their mother, who they believed had died in a fire when they were children.
Oh my.
Oh.
Yes. They've been on their own, I believe, for about 18 years because the girls are 21 at this point.
Mm.
And they do mention not seeing their mother for 18.
Oh.
It also implies that at this time, the sisters are living out east on the East Coast.
Okay.
Somewhere along Brooklyn or New Jersey, something like that. And it even says like that, somewhere along this and that.
Gotcha.
So it's like, do you guys even know where you're at?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Racine is described as a woman of 21 years old. She also has burn scars on her arms, back, and neck, but she is of great beauty. Anaya looks are a little different in comparison to her sisters. She is described as scars on arm, face, and neck. She is difficult to look at and even wears a wig.
Oh.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Gotcha.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
Right.
So-
yeah.
Allegedly, they were also involved in this fire
Yeah.
in
yeah.
some way. So,
And might have barely survived it if they have still
yes.
burn scars on. Yeah.
Especially Racine.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Anaya. Anaya is the one who got the brunt of it, so to speak.
Gotcha.
So, it is also important to note that while Racine is considered beautiful, she is the rough one of both of the sisters. She is mean, while Anaya is trapped in a prison of sweetness. The play goes on to describe the girls' day-to-day and the difficulties that they experience both together and as individuals. As mentioned earlier, the twins, who are, again, living out on the East Coast at this time, receive a letter from their mother, who they believe to be dead after a tragic fire that was started by their father. That detail comes out. They make the decision to go and see their mother in the deep south, is where she is referenced as. So they're going to go from the East Coast to the deep south, the dirty south, for the first time since they were babies, and they are taken by surprise by the state that she is in when they do see her. One thing that really stood out to me here when they are being reintroduced to their mother is the interaction between the twins and their mother was that they would reference her as God. They start to reference her as God. And a lot of that is due to the fact that they came from her, which is really interesting, referencing mom as God and bringing her into the world. And so Racine is specifically is like, we have to do right by God. And what God ends up asking them to do is to seek revenge on their father for what he has done to mom specifically, aka God, and the two twin daughters. So they agree to travel west and exact revenge for their mother against their father and anyone he is with, and promise to bring her back something of him in proof that they did indeed kill him. Which also seems kind of folklore and mythological to me.
Like talisman.
Yes, like bring something back to prove to me that the deed is done.
I'm thinking of the witch's pearl,
That's
right?
exactly,
That's exactly what popped in my head.
Yes,
true.
So I was like, oh man, the story really is of modern day folklore.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, I love that. I love that detail about it too. So the twins begin their journey out west, and they stop in what is referenced as the Valley. The Valley is California for a lot of people.
I used to live there.
I'm a big fan of California. I also did a stint out there. We should talk about it sometime.
Sweet, yes.
But they go out to the Valley advised by their mother because she lets them know that the lawyer who helped their father get away with murder, so to speak, he's out there, and he is the only one who knows where father is. So in order to find father, they need to find this lawyer. So they
extract that information before they kill him.
Exactly. Yes, before they can.
It's like you've heard this mythology before.
Yes,
but it's like, are they going to succeed? Right?
Yeah. Stay tuned, Barb.
Yeah, I'm up for reading this like tonight. So.
Oh, I have it. You're welcome. You're welcome. You won't want to put it down. But so they need to find father. They go to the lawyer's house first. The lawyer, will say, is not of sound mind. He is taking pills. He is rambling about how his wife has left him. He cannot really form a sentence to the women, to the young twin girls, and is very frustrating to them. He's basically, to be blunt, he's trying to commit suicide as they are trying to talk with him. So they caught him right as he is trying to end things for himself. But they are able to obtain the information that they want out of him in a fit of rage. and they carry out to find their father. I know, right? Like, yes.
Yes.
Again,
Got the
I'm
info.
trying my best to
Yeah.
talk about this play and not give away all of the details, but they do get the information that they need from him.
Neat.
But not before discovering that, drum roll. Oh, yes, it actually.
We'll actually do it. Yeah, we'll actually do it. Yeah.
Yes. So encouraging, guys. But his father has a second set of twins now. This time, boys.
Oh no.
And their names are Riley and Scotch. Scotch like you drink.
Wow.
Yes.
I feel like there's a lot
Wow.
of twins in mythology too.
Yes.
There is,
Right?
yeah.
There's
A lot
like
of-
some symbolism and importance to twins.
Yes, exactly. That duality of
Yeah.
nature and yeah.
Mhm. I mean,
Dun,
even
dun,
like
dun.
in like today's zodiac, right? Like Gemini, are they twins or am I just making
There
that
is
up?
one that's
Mhm.
twins and I
Yeah,
can't.
the
Is it
Gemini are
okay?
twins. Yes.
I remember you saying I am so a Gemini.
No, Virgo.
Virgo.
Oh,
There it is.
The
That's what it
lame
is.
of the
Okay.
zodiac.
There you
lame.
go.
Oh,
yes.
don't cut yourself short there.
No.
You are
Yeah,
brilliant.
as much as I'm like, oh, astrology is just phooey, like, I'm such a Virgo.
And then it just
I'm
melts.
such a
Yes,
Virgo.
exactly.
So yes, the twins discover that they have
Another set of twins.
another set of twin half brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on their way out there, as they continue out west to the address, they are conflicted on what. Well, one of them is conflicted on what to do, and the other is reminding them of what God, aka Mother, has told them. That being to essentially take out anyone that father is associated with.
Right.
So,
They have to
Racine,
kill their own brothers.
yes, Racine and Anaya travel to the house where their father lives to discover his new wife,
Of course.
who is actively in the process of leaving when they meet her. And I specifically put here, insert revenge against her here. So I didn't want
Yes, there you go.
give
Right.
out
Okay.
the
Fair.
details because it is
Right.
a very powerful. I really enjoyed reading that part of this play. And I just, if you want to know,
Right.
you're gonna have to read it.
You need to read it.
But it's very good.
Yeah.
They do come into contact with his second wife,
Gotcha. With stepmom, basically.
stepmom, basically. And it's interesting because, of course, he gives her a different story about like what happened.
Well,
Mm,
yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
He's done nothing wrong.
No, nothing. Never.
It was a tragedy.
Tragedy. Yes, it's just a tragedy.
Nothing
Sure.
for a clue about that. That's just men.
Right. Yeah, you're fair.
So the girls then travel up to the house where they knock and they meet their half brothers. And keep in mind, they don't. The brothers do not know who they are.
Right. Yeah.
This is where it gets a little silly and goofy.
The spaghetti western of it all.
Yeah, I would say yes. I was LOLing a little bit here. However, upon their arrival, one is convinced that their father had hired the girls, the twin sisters, for their birthday, which is 2 weeks away,
Oh.
as exotic dancers.
Oh my god.
Oh, dear.
That's
So-
wishful drinking right there.
Yes.
Mm.
Well, and what else is funny? Just side note: while the twin girls are, I believe, 21, it notes in the story that the boys in 2 weeks are turning 17.
Oh.
So they're
Okay.
they're children.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
The
Sure.
other more
Yeah, I
timid brother.
I
I'm
didn't
sorry,
get
Brooke.
anything like that when I turned
I know.
17.
Yeah.
So
I think I
just
went
saying.
to a rated R movie.
Oh, there you
Maybe,
go.
because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
maybe.
Yep.
Couldn't tell you what it was.
Mm,
But
great.
that was
No strippers.
no strippers.
No
Weird.
No
strippers.
strippers.
From your parents.
Yeah, from my
Yeah.
dad.
Right.
I can't imagine John doing that at all. Right? Jesus.
Be like, no, please. No.
Oh,
no.
my dad sent you?
Exactly.
I'm confused.
Is that because he's the type of father that they've grown up that might be a possibility?
Right.
Or
Right.
is this just a raging teenage boy
Wishful drinking.
hormone? Yeah.
I will say the one who was all for it was like, no, he would totally do this. And the other brother's like, I don't think so. So,
So there was a more reasonable
Yeah.
of the two.
Got
yes,
it.
a more
Good voice.
reserved one
It was-
versus,
yeah.
we'll say, I don't know, dare I say an idiot?
There you go.
I said it.
I like it.
Yeah. So the other more timid brother is unsure, and he is hesitant the entire time that the sisters are present.
Gotcha.
The timid brother and Anaya have a moment, and Anaya wants to trust him. And when I say have a moment, they just have a conversation.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And she wants to trust him and believe, like, hey, maybe the brothers aren't bad.
Mhm.
After yet another turn of events, again, insert revenge and adventurous typography here, the sisters are finally face to face with their father, who
Oh.
attempts to recreate the scenario that began all of this 18 years ago.
He lights a house fire?
Can't tell you.
Oh!
Read it.
Oh! Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun. I will say, I will
Intrigued.
tell you fire is involved.
Okay.
I will tell you I will
All
not
right.
leave you hanging.
Interesting.
Entirely. Yes.
Makes sense.
Yes. And in true cliffhanging fashion, and in doing my best to not give too much away, like
Totally
I've said
fair.
a few
Yeah.
times now, which I strongly recommend reading this play, we do find ourselves having the final scene of the play back with God, aka Mother.
Ah.
But is everyone there? Oh,
Right.
no.
Right. Exactly.
Are there
Is
different
it
people there?
in their
Ah,
imagination?
Yes.
Yeah.
yes,
Right. Exactly.
yes.
Or physically
And
there.
you will feel that roller coaster as you are reading this short play.
Ah.
So I just put, someone asked Mother if she feels like she can die in peace now, to which Mother responds, yes, it is quiet now. And the very last line of the play is, funny, I still hear noise.
Oh.
And I loved that
Ooh,
line
chills,
so
yes.
much. I love that line so much because I feel like it just leaves you wondering who she really might be seeing or talking to.
Mhm.
Or even, like, I know, I have read it, so I know who is actually there, but I'm just curious as to what, is it really over?
Right.
So, like, in many classic folklore and mythology tales, ending on a cliffhanger leading other to suspect that the journey for our main characters are not really over.
Yeah.
And that is quite the possibility with our cast and crew of Is God Is.
Yeah.
So,
To touch into that folklore of,
Yes.
is it really over? Or how do you interpret it
yes,
going
absolutely.
forward? Yeah.
Yeah. And I just thought it was, so that is an amazing play by Aleshea Harris.
Ooh.
Is God Is. Highly
Is God
recommend.
Is.
Yes.
Very cool.
Well,
It was
Very
very,
cool.
very, yes, it was a very enjoyable read. I loved reading again, and just a woman of color, and she's so successful. She also has a second play called When It Goes Down, which I have yet to read, but also won, I believe, an award or two.
Fascinating.
Mhm.
Ooh, neat.
I know.
And is she in her 20s, 30s?
She is a young, I would say,
She's youngin'?
yes, she's
Gotcha.
young. She's
There you go.
young and maybe mid to early 30s, mid 30s. I want
Nice.
to say. Feel free to fact check me.
Oh, you're good. Yeah. I mean,
yes, I would
the
love
reason
to
why I
read it.
asked because that's a great fresh voice. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
In plays and
Mhm.
which is really, really lovely to have.
Yeah, yes, and that's another reason why I was like, I think I'll try something a little different with this thing.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like, she was wonderful. It's a
Yeah.
wonderful play.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
I'm excited.
So,
Is Barb
hopefully-
trying to figure out how to find it right away?
There's a lot of
Yeah.
Talented Aleshea Harrises out there. So
Oh,
I was having,
interesting.
I was having trouble getting that.
Playwright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Or-
so there were several that was they were.
Oh.
She was. Well, it doesn't even say when
Gotcha.
she was. It doesn't say when she was born.
Oh my
That's
god.
interesting.
She's
That's
just
fine.
a-
She gets
she's
that
a mystery.
privacy. I mean, kudos to her because there's a lot of women in the film industry who are like, "Can you take my age off of IMDb because it's hurting me for casting?"
Oh, so
Because if
interesting.
you can play older or you can play younger, like just don't put the age there.
Right.
Well, and this is on, like, I looked her up in Wikipedia, and usually you
Yeah.
don't get to take that off of Wikipedia.
Right.
Your age is just usually on there, and it's not.
I will say on the
That's
Wikipedia
cool.
page, there's not a lot of info.
Right.
She kept it very.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I
Sparse.
I respect that about her.
I do.
Yeah.
She
Yes.
took charge on that.
Very
which is
cool,
Yeah.
very cool.
Especially
So-
because her work is out there.
Yes.
A lot of times working with women's history, it's like there is information that we wish we could get, but if their work is out there, that will speak a lot more volumes and stuff like that. So
Definitely.
that's
yes.
fantastic.
Mhm.
Does anybody have any questions for Kassie?
No, I can't wait to read it.
Right?
I have it right here for you, Barb.
I will
Look
take
at
it
that.
tonight.
Yes.
Is there also a way, do you know, to watch the play?
Oh, I wish. I've been
Okay.
looking.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't. I have
Off
not-
Broadway's a little bit harder to find
Yes.
recordings, and especially official ones, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I've been trying. I tried to see if by chance it was still touring somewhere.
Right,
Or was
yeah.
going to, and I just have not had any luck yet.
Gotcha.
Again, 2018 was her year.
Right.
So.
And it should mean that, the play is out there for somebody else to pick up and
Yes.
perform. And then,
Fingers crossed. 'Cause I would
Yeah.
absolutely love to have a ticket to go see it.
That'd be cool.
Absolutely.
If we have any indie fringe fans that are listening,
Yes.
that would be a
Right.
great one for them to
Yeah.
buy the rights to and to put
Yes.
on. So
Or-
Bonnie and I have gone to a couple of, we went to a Phoenix one.
We went
indie
to,
fringe ones.
River,
Oh.
is it River Phoenix, isn't it?
River Phoenix, no, Phoenix
It's
Theater.
something- Okay, it's just,
Yeah.
We went to go see, trying to remember what the name of it is.
I couldn't rember either, but it's
one
about the Harvard
computers.
computers. That was
and
amazing.
Specifically, I think
The social
Leavitt?
network.
Leavitt Stars, maybe?
Could be. The only title that's coming to mind is Calculating Stars, and it's not that one
No.
because that is a
I think
different
it's like
book by.
Miss Leavitt Stars or something like
Could
that.
be, yeah.
Yeah, I've been wanting to. I forget if it's her or if it's another lady I found. I've bookmarked her page, and she has like all kinds of sounds like super badass, like women's history feminist plays. She's like 50 of them.
Right, exactly.
And
We're gonna
I
have to
don't
add Miss
know-
Harris's name to that list
Yes.
now.
I don't know
yes.
how to like look up to see if any theaters in like the surrounding states
Are
playing
showing
it, unless
them,
You just like
yeah.
look up each theater.
Right, exactly.
I
Yeah,
feel like there's got to be a way to check that. I don't know.
got to be something. Yeah, I'm
gotta
not
be.
too much into the theater world, but if there's any of our theater listeners who are listening,
Mm.
we want to know.
Or if you know Aleshea Harris by chance, I
Yes.
would love to have a
Yes.
conversation with her and ask her a few
Right.
questions. So please
Yeah,
reach out.
There you go. Exactly. I love it. I love it. Well, do you want to wrap us up,
Yeah,
darling?
I'm happy to wrap us up.
Sweet. That
Yes.
was fantastic. I
Oh,
love it. I
thank
love
you.
it.
Thank you. But yes, that is a wrap for this week, you guys. Please join us next week for another cool Woman of History as Gal's Guide podcast continues. And thank you again for listening as always.
For show notes, links, and images from this week's show, visit galsguide.org. Want exclusive stuff like deleted bits and major bloopers? Become a Gals Guide patron today. Thanks for listening.